therapist Kristen Jacobson.
Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the anxiety therapist, and today I want to talk about how your brain handles anxiety. In Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation, he explains two ways our brains process the world. There's discover mode and then there's defend mode. And these aren't just abstract concepts, but they actually directly influence how we experience anxiety, make decisions, and live our adult lives. So if you're struggling with anxiety, stress, or overthinking, then understanding how these modes operate can really offer some clarity. So let's dig into what they are, how they work, and what you can do to spend more time in discover mode. For starters, what are discover mode and defend mode? So if you think of your brain like a computer having two operating systems, the first is discover mode. So this is going to be your curious, exploratory side. When you're in discover mode, you're eager to try new things, solve problems, and learn. You might take some calculated risks because your brain is focused on rewards and creativity and personal growth. And it's powered by the behavioral activation system, the BAS. And that's the part of your brain that motivates you to move toward positive outcomes. On the other hand, we have defend mode. So this is going to be your anxious side, right? This is going to be your cautious, protective side. So when you're in defend mode, your brain is going to be on high alert for threats, whether those threats are real or imagined. And you're more likely to avoid risks and retreat to safety or your comfort zone. This mode is driven by the behavioral inhibition system, BIS, and this is a mechanism designed to shield you from potential harm. So both systems are essential. We wouldn't want to wander into a dangerous situation without a second thought, but you also wouldn't want fear to paralyze you from taking action. And so the problem actually arises when your brain gets stuck in defend mode. Why do we get stuck in defend mode? Defend mode is part of our survival instinct. It's really how our ancestors avoided predators and other dangers. But in our modern world, the threats we face aren't usually life-threatening like that. They're going to be things like deadlines or financial stress or a fear of failure. And the problem is that your brain doesn't actually know the difference. The same system that helped those early humans survive a lion attack is now activated when you get an email from your boss at 10 p.m. And then over time, this frequent activation of defend mode can lead to chronic anxiety, making it harder to enjoy life or take on new challenges. And this is especially true if you've experienced long-term stress or trauma. Your brain becomes so accustomed to scanning for danger that it just defaults to defend mode even when there's no real threat. So the link between defend mode and anxiety is essentially that spending too much time in defend mode changes how your brain works, and that chronic stress rewires your brain, making your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear, more active, and then your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking, less effective. So what does this mean in real life? Well, you might avoid situations that feel uncertain, even if they might have potential rewards. You might be overthinking small decisions, fearing that you'll make the wrong choice. Or you might find it hard to relax because your brain always seems to be on guard. And when anxiety dominates, defend mode essentially becomes your default setting. But the good news is that you can actually retrain your brain to spend more time in discover mode. So how do we make that shift from defend mode to discover mode? It's not about ignoring risks, but it's about creating the mental space to approach life with more curiosity versus fear. So here's some strategies that can help you make that shift. One is to just recognize when you're in defend mode, right? The first step is awareness. So you want to pay attention to your thoughts and behaviors. Are you avoiding something because it feels overwhelming? Do you feel stuck, like no option feels safe? Are you focusing more on what could go wrong versus what could go right? Naming the mode you're in helps you step back and sort of reframe the situation. 2 is to challenge your thoughts. So when you notice defend mode thinking, ask yourself, is this fear based on facts or assumptions? What's the worst that could realistically happen? Is there a way to take a small step forward without a major risk? And cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT techniques, can really help quiet your behavioral inhibition system and then re-engage that behavioral activation system. Number 3 is to practice mindfulness. So meditation or deep breathing, they help reduce the stress that keeps you in defend mode. And these practices calm the amygdala and really strengthen the prefrontal cortex. So this makes it easier to approach situations from more of a rational perspective. You're not stuck in your emotional brain. You can actually use your logical brain. Number 4 is to expose yourself to new experiences. So discover mode thrives on novelty. So start small, maybe try a new hobby, take a different route to work, strike up a conversation with someone new. These small acts actually train your brain to see uncertainty as an opportunity rather than a threat. And then you'll have some small wins that can help motivate you to keep going. And number 5 is to create a safe environment. So feeling safe is key to shifting out of defend mode. You want to build supportive relationships, reduce unnecessary stressors, and really take care of your physical health. So simple things like sleep, exercise, balanced nutrition, they actually have a huge impact on your brain's ability to stay in discover mode. So why does discover mode matter for adults? Many people associate curiosity and exploration with childhood, and that's essentially what Jonathan Haidt's book is about, childhood and adolescence. But discover mode is just as important for adults. It's how we grow, adapt, find meaning in life, things like that. So when you're in discover mode, you're better able to handle uncertainty with confidence. You can build deeper, more meaningful relationships, and you can pursue goals without fear holding you back. So adults who cultivate discover mode really tend to report higher levels of happiness, lower levels of anxiety, and just greater overall resilience. So understanding the difference between discover mode and defend mode is sort of like getting a user's manual for your brain. Both modes have their place, but balance is essential. So if you find yourself stuck in defend mode, remember that this isn't permanent. And with practice, you can really retrain your brain to approach life with more curiosity, openness, and courage. Life is just naturally full of uncertainty, but it doesn't mean it has to feel overwhelming or anxiety provoking. And shifting into discover mode really lets you embrace different challenges as opportunities, helping you put an end to that cycle of chronic anxiety. So it's not easy. It takes time, it takes intention and effort, but it's definitely worth it in the end. I hope you found this video helpful. I would love to hear about your own experiences in defend mode versus discover mode. So be sure to leave that in the comments, and I will see you all next week.